We don't see things how they are, we see things how we are, right? So the brain only perceives equal to how we're wired and how we emotionally feel. So imagine having a full-on sensory experience without your senses right now. What if your senses were heightened right now by 25%? Everything you're seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling. If your senses are heightened by 25%, your awareness of everything around you is heightened. Awareness is consciousness. You can't have consciousness without energy. So the brain gets a rush of energy, and now the experience lays the tracks down in the brain. And now when we come back to our senses, we are going to perceive a broader spectrum of reality. Now our brain is wired to perceive what has always existed, but we didn't have the circuits to perceive it. And now the person's getting a broader glimpse of reality. And science says we perceive less than 1% of reality. Well, now they're getting a glimpse. The sacred is so much grander than the mundane.
Yes.
And so in a moment, a person is now no longer in the labyrinth of life. They are looking at it from a different dimension. They know where they need to go on. They're no longer asking anybody for answers. They're getting a download from the field. Yes. And we actually call it a download. And with that download comes a biological upgrade. There's an upgrade because all disease is a lowering of frequency according to the quantum model. It's incoherence. The body is disorderly. It's slowing down in frequency. So now, once the system switches on, and all of a sudden that person is drawing from the field, get ready because the body is going to take on a new frequency, and we see eczema disappear, we see tumors shrink, the diseases can no longer exist because there's a change in the human operating system. Yes. From energy, not from matter, but from energy.
From energy.
Yeah. How much of your waking day do you have your attention on matter? And how much of your waking day do you have your attention on the field or energy? Most people are local in space and time, and so all of their attention is on matter. So in our work, we say, when you take your attention off your body, you become nobody. When you take your attention off all the people in your life and your identity, you become no one. You take your attention off your cell phone, your computer, your car, you're in no thing. If you take your attention off the place you're sitting, the place you need to be, you're in nowhere. If you're not thinking about the past or the future and you're in the present moment, you're in no time. And that's the moment you become pure consciousness. That's the moment you're disinvesting all of your attention and energy out of this three-dimensional reality. Now, this three-dimensional reality is real to us because we perceive it with our senses. Yeah. But the quantum is a realm that exists beyond the senses, and you could only experience it with your awareness. So then imagine...
It's just as real.
It's more real. So then just because you can't see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So then if I said to you, pay attention to it, connect to it, become more aware of it, stay present with it, moment after moment after moment, like a radio dial, your nervous system is tuning into frequencies. Sooner or later, you're not doing it with your body. If you're back in your body, you're back in three-dimensional reality. You have to get beyond your body, your environment, and time. Now, that's the moment you're on the bridge to the quantum field. But if you're going to connect to that field, there are greater and greater levels of order and oneness. So then as you begin to connect to that information and you look for it, and you tune into it, every time you feel something, your brain lays down a circuit. Why? That's what experience does. Now you're putting the circuits in place for you to perceive more of it. And if you're focusing on the divine, you just may see the divine in everybody. Well, number one, fill your brain with knowledge. Turn the TV off. Sit down and read a book or watch a video that's going to inspire you. Knowledge is the precursor to experience. The more knowledge you have, the more prepared you are for the event. And when you start losing track of your vision, it's because more than likely you're emotional. Because the moment you feel emotional, you can't see the future because you're looking at your future through the lens of the past. Get up in the morning, get out of bed, and take time for your precious self. You and I are a work in progress. And if we are not changing our brain and body in some way, priming it for the future, we're going to be very predictable the rest of the day. And we're going to be in our past. Take time for yourself every morning and ask yourself a simple question. One day, one lifetime, What is the greatest expression of myself I can be today? How would a great person think? How would they act? How would they feel? Can I teach my body emotionally how that future person is going to feel now? And make the deal with yourself that you're not going to get up from your meditation until you feel differently. If you do, get up and maintain that modified state of mind and body your entire day, independent of any person, anything, or experience in your life, independent of any emotional addiction or habit in your body, and independent of time. And if you can, get ready, because something unusual is going to happen in your life. That's the law. And so when synchronicities and serendipities and coincidences begin to happen in your life, unexpected events like balloons showing up in windows to remind you that the divine is present, that's an indicator that you are literally now in a dance in this world between your free-willed consciousness and this consciousness that's controlling all of this. And when your consciousness every day merges with that consciousness, why not be bold enough to say to the Creator, hey, Creator, I took time out of my busy day to emulate you. I'm the son and daughter of God. I am emulating you as a Creator. But here's the deal. I need a sign from you to let me know that you're real. But don't bring it in a way that I can expect, because if it comes in a way that I expect, it's nothing new. Rock my world. When that starts happening to you on a regular basis, you're less prone to judge your coworker. You're less prone to get upset in traffic. And when the mystical starts downloading data into your brain and you start having really profound experiences, there's only one thing you want to do, and that is to give. You cannot not give in that place. And you can never return back to business as usual ever again. And so, is it worth the effort? I think so. We now know that when you're analyzing your life within some emotion that's bothering you, you will make your brain worse every time, because it's those very emotions that drive your brain further into higher and more aroused states. And since the emotion is a record of the past, the person's basically thinking in the past. They can't resolve the problem from the past. When they get beyond that emotion, that's when they begin to see the answer that they've been looking for themselves. We know that. We also know that when people are living with their attention on things and objects and people, and they're living by the hormones of stress, and they're obsessing about time and obsessing about their bodies, that they have very little effects or changes in their brain. We also know that when a person gets to the place where there are no body, no one, no thing, no where, and no time, that's the moment they literally are pure consciousness. Now, consciousness is what changes the brain. The brain never changes the brain. The program never changes the program. The personality never changes the personality. The ego never changes the ego. Matter never changes matter. It's only when a person becomes pure consciousness that consciousness with that energy is the epiphenomenon of matter. And so when people reach this elegant state where they disconnect from their body, that's when they can heal their body. When they forget about their life, that's when they can change their life. When they get beyond all of their elements that they identify with, that's the moment where they can begin to change their life or create some new time. And in fact, we've seen this enough times that I can say that you and I are at our absolute best when we get beyond ourselves. I don't know how else to say that.